Thank you. All right, all right. Oh, I don't need that. Needed it earlier. We're a little dark in here, aren't we? Set this up real quick. All right, let's see if we can't fix this brightness up a little bit, shan't we? I know it's been a while. I know. I missed you guys too. I missed you guys too. All billion of you. Okay. So let's see if we can't bring. Mm, that's a little better. That's better. That's good enough. That's good enough for me. So if it's good enough for me, hopefully it's good enough for you. And if it's not, it sucks to be you. It's great for me. That's way too loud though, huh? That's definitely a little too loud. That's probably a little bit better. Now I'm not all up in your face about it, huh? Yeah, definitely not all up in your face about it anymore. Okay. All right. So let's see if we can put that there. Kind of get myself a little situated here. You know what I mean? I gotta organize my thoughts. Literally, my thoughts need to be organized. I tried freeballing, and you know what happened? I drank and I panicked. I panicked a lot. I panicked. I freaked out. I was like, I can't. I don't know how the fuck these ops do it, man. But I can't do it, man. But I was able to get a couple of thoughts organized here just to help out. Maybe instead of fumbling and freaking out, I can just be like, it's okay. Rip the trip. Rip the trip. I like to rip the trip. You know what I mean? Um, but I can't right now because that is kind of empty. So here's what we're gonna do. Anki, you good? You good? Yeah. Give me some bop. You good? Give me some bop. Give me some bop. There you go, boy. Give me some bop. There you go, boy. He's like, yeah, I'll give you a little bit of bop. You can't help but give me the bop. He is a boof, after all. Okay. So, I don't know what the fuck I was. That's right. Here we go again. Probably shouldn't say this. Episode 5 continued. We're going to continue this. We're going to try to continue it. All right. And we're trying to figure out who owns our reality. All right. And I'm going to be honest with you from the fucking jump. What we're here to talk about tonight, this is going to connect some dots that most people don't want connected. Okay. Once these dots get connected in your head, you can't unsee them. You literally cannot unsee the pattern after I show you what I'm about to show you. Okay. So if you watch the last episode, And I know some of you just found these, and yeah, I just found these. So you're already, you know it, I know it, we all know it. They're new. You already know your plate is weaponized. Okay, we already know this. Anybody who is on Twitter and heard that vice president talking about, of course you dumb poor people, of course your food is fake. I don't want to eat that shit. Like after you say some stupid shit like that on the internet, you really can't go back and be like, LOL JK, that was a deep fake. You know what I mean? Like, especially not during a board meeting or whatever. I don't know what the fuck was going on. I just know that when I heard that shit, I was just like, fuck yes. Fuck yes. Because like for me, it's just like, I I gave up. I gave up on you guys. I'm gonna be honest. I gave up on you guys. I gave up on humanity. I lost all faith in you fuckers, man. I gave up. I really did, man. Like I really was like wholehearted. Like I was like, this is it, man. This is how we fucking go, man. Episode 3 style, like y'all really going for a Revenge of the Sith? Like I remember when the movie came out, everybody said that movie sucked. Like everybody was all hot and bothered because it wasn't the original Star Wars. But that's exactly what the fuck you guys are walking into right now. We're about to fucking give it all away with the thunderous applause. I mean, if that's what you want, then that's what you fucking want. You know what I mean? But for the rest of the fucking people in the world, fuck no. No, we don't want that shit. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but something about just being viewed as lesser for not being higher just don't sit right with me. You know what I mean? It's just not what our thing was supposed to be about. It's not the play, but that's just me rambling. But completely irrelevant about what I was, I mean, maybe that's the food talking. Who knows, But that's really where we left it last time. Last time I had to go and be away from you guys. You know what I mean? Like I had to get the fuck out of Dodge. For me, doing internet every single day is not my thing. You know what I mean? I I want to so fucking bad just get up here every single fucking day and talk to you guys and fucking just be chilling and smoking and joking and toking. But I'm like, fuck no, man. Fuck no. No. But I gotta, because I care. I care just fucking enough to be like, hey, just so you guys know, if you guys weren't paying attention, if you guys weren't noticing this is what's going on. All right. And, because I mean, you're going to get your news from anywhere. So, like, this shit right here, this is not more like news. This is more like, how to watch your news. For me, this is a game that I like to play. This is catch the fucking op. You know what I mean? Like, some people like to catch a predator. I like to catch a psyop. It's my tea. Some people like affirmative murder porn. Not me. I'm into fucking conspiracies and thiops. You know what I mean? Oh, did I say thiops? I guess my fetishes are slipping. But anyways, that's not what we're doing tonight. We're not in the kitchen tonight. We're following the money and we're going all the way up the fucking chain. Okay, we're going all the way to the fucking top of the architecture, because here's the thing we covered in episode 1 through 4 that matters for tonight. Okay, the second bank of the United States tried to centralize financial power way back in 1816. You guys remember the last episode, I was talking about Andrew Jackson. He was like, fuck that. And then, he vetoed the charter in 1832. And then for 77 years, it seemed like nothing was going on, right? We had decentralized banking, but just they were always trying. They were trying a lot. They tried and failed many times, right? Like it's the story. It's the story we all know. But yes, the people who lost that bank war, they didn't just disappear. They waited and understood something very critical. Okay. And that's power always wants to reconsolidate. That means come back. It wants to come back together. Everything always pulls back together. Okay. It always happens. It's always going to happen. You just need the right crisis. Magic word of the day is going to be crisis. Okay. I mean, maybe not. Who knows? I mean, don't worry about that word. Okay. It's not important right now. Okay. But between 1836 and 1907, okay, consolidation was attempted multiple times and it failed multiple times. Okay. There was the 1837 panic. They tried and they failed. 1857, there was another panic. They tried and failed. Okay. In 1873, panic! They got closer than ever but failed. And then in 1893, so close, but not quite there. And then regional bankers, you know, they were just too strong. They were unfuckable with. You couldn't do nothing with them. All right, decentralized power it maintained for 77 years. It did this. Okay, there was this tug of war between central power and decentralized power. They're fighting for that shit, right? And then in 1907 a panic hit hard enough that it was oh boy, JP Morgan positioned himself as the only solution for this panic, all right? And it worked like really fucking good, okay? By 1913, we have the Federal Reserve, which is a private public hybrid that's owned by bankers, okay? Not the government, okay? Not the government. That was created. The private bank was created, the privatized banks, right? And that time, it stuck. And that's what we're dealing with today. Now that we understand where our money comes from, at least our money system, where those bills come from. You ever look in your wallet? I mean, if you're looking in your wallet and you're seeing fucking Benjamins and Jacksons and fucking and Grants, then you know, fuck you. All right. But no, but in reality, good on you. Fuck yeah. It's good to have fucking money in your pocket. And it feels good to have money in your pocket. And we should all have more money in our fucking pocket. But we don't. Fucking sucks, right? But yeah, you look at all those fucking things and you'll see on all of those notes, it'll say I would pull one out of my wallet, but as you see, it's empty. It's nothing but receipts and fucking past due notes. All right. So they have Federal Reserve note on there. It says Federal Reserve right up on there. That's what that bill is for. It represents that money in their bank, no one else's bank. Okay. So unless it's coming from a Federal Reserve bank, your money's no good. Okay. All right. And now that money used to be backed by gold and silver for a long time, and now it's not. But we're going to get into that later because I like to like go balls deep, head forward, fast first. You know what I mean? But I need to slow down because I get a little hyped up and antsy. I do. Like this is like I'm telling you when I've been trying to like I see it. I'm starting to see it. I'm starting to see more people talk about it. And the more I see people talk about it, and the more I see people like discussing it and like being woke to it. Now you have to be careful. A lot of fucking people out there are making fucking videos and shit literally just for fucking like just to like be like follow me and fucking get this merch or whatever and shit like that. I don't ever intend on selling out. And if I do, I'm pretty sure you guys would know about it first. All right. The day that I have more than 14 fucking views on my YouTube channel is the day that I know that somebody's obviously looking at me in a way that I wasn't prepared for because I shouldn't have any more than fucking 14 to 20 views per fucking video. Like in all reality, I'm not advertising these. I just put them on the internet and then nobody really sees them unless they just so happen to come across it. If you happen to come across it, awesome. But just know there's literally nothing behind me backing this up. It's just one crazy, fucked up, broken brain product of the army that's like, hey, before you guys get fucked up too, because it's coming. Here's a way to like recognize these patterns as they've been going on throughout history. All right. But once again, I'm crazy and I'm rambling and nothing about what I'm saying is relevant at all anyway. So like I mean, but who knows? I don't know. I certainly don't know. I really don't. And when I say that, that's not supposed to be like, like, oh, you're being a smart ass. No, no, man, I don't know. I'm just noticing shit. You know what I mean? It's just like I'm just noticing these weird things, and I'm just like, why is that happening like that? And why is that happening like that? And why is that happening like that? And if that was supposed to be like that, then wouldn't that do this? And then wouldn't this be doing that over there? Like, why is that over here? Like, that's how it goes, okay? And it's just I can't help it. I really can't help it. I can't help it. I'm going crazy right now just thinking about how much I can't fucking help it. But on to forward business, right? On to forward business. So, like we know, between 1836 and 1907, they tried consolidation multiple times and failed multiple times until they succeeded through JP Morgan. All right. And the reason why he was able to do this is because he positioned himself as the only solution, and it worked. All right. So by 1913, like we said, Federal Reserve, a public hybrid owned by bankers, not the government, was created. All right. So that that sucks. It really does. It sucks a lot. All right. And we've already talked about Jekyll Island. We talked about that in the last episode. And we also talked about how the Federal Reserve was designed to be private owned, run by bankers, and immediately weaponized to finance wars on both sides of World War One. This is exactly the model that was set up for this fucking program, right? This is what the Federal Reserve was for, just for this. Okay. And we already covered how American corporations, Standard Oil, GM, Ford, IBM, or not, yeah, IBM, yeah, I was like, no, not those guys, but yeah, those guys, IBM, AT&T, which was formerly IT&T, that it's just like the government. When the government gets caught doing something they're not supposed to do, they don't stop doing it, guys. They just change the fucking name and continue on like business never fucking happened. All right, like that's how it runs, and it's fucked up. It's really fucked up, but what are we gonna do? Pretend like it doesn't fucking happen? That's the problem. Is like a lot of shit gets so fucking sugar coated and like downplayed and like fucking like brushed over and everything like that. That when it starts to like when you start to see that shit real time 4K right now live like in reality and everything like that, you're not sure how to process what the fuck is going on because everybody else is just fucking running on like this is what's supposed to happen, not realizing that their frame reference of normal is already abnormal, right? So like, like how do you convince how does a crazy person realize that they're crazy, right? That's a question right there. Now, and that's a question that I always think about. Like, how does a crazy person know that they're crazy? Who was the first person to like identify who was a crazy person? And how do they know that they weren't crazy themselves? Right. And like, like, it's just like, how do you know that you're not fucking crazy? Right. Like, what's the real baseline for normal? Right. Like, could you really get a measurable baseline for normal? Because I've seen people do crazy things and then like learn later on that the crazy things that they're doing is a reaction to an environment situation that's going on. And then, like for example, like a crackhead, right? You see a crackhead homeless person on the fucking street, you're like, oh, this person's fucking crazy. You run into the same guy 5 years later and he's reformed, turned his life around. He's got a house and kids and a wife and shit like that and a small business. It's just like, okay, was he crazy then when he was doing the crack and being homeless on the street, or is he crazy now that he's gotten his shit back together? Because it's the same fucking brain, but one's dignified as crazy and the other one's not. Or what about if it was swapped? If he was that guy before he went into crack, like which part of his brain was the crazy part of his brain type shit? You know what I mean? At what point does somebody killing somebody become a bad thing? Because I remember at one point in time in history, now not personally remember, but also kind of, but it used to be where the more people you killed, the greater of a fucking hero and warrior you were. Now it's where like if you kill anybody for any reason whatsoever, you're a fucking crazed radical that's being titled onto like 80 different, like I gotta slow down. I gotta slow down, man. You know, this is not even what the fuck I'm supposed to be talking about. Like, hold on here. Woo! Obviously, someone has not had their medication today. So I need to have myself a smoked salad. Because if I don't, I will continue to fucking spiral out of fucking control. Eat your vegetables. That's all I can say. Eat your vegetables. Okay. I'm trying to slow down. I'm trying. Okay. But you know it's really fucking hard? I'm sitting here doing this podcast. And I'm doing this podcast describing the machinations of control and the patterns that are easily identifiable in order to recognize when you're getting fucking played with, right? How much choice do you think I have here in my hand? How many choices are in my hand? One. Right? Most people will be like, oh, that's one choice. Easy, right? Because if you think it's a trick question, but it's a double trick question. The real answer is zero. It's zero, guys. Zero. These two cans in my hand present me with zero choice. I can either have Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola. And now, in history, ultimatums usually don't have a beneficial choice for the person in the position of the ultimatum. Coca-Cola or Coca-Cola tells me that I'm choosing Coca-Cola no matter what the fuck I want to choose. So even if I say Pepsi, right? Fuck them. Let's flip it up a bit, right? Pepsi. I choose Pepsi. It's not an option there, right? That's fine. You're still choosing BlackRock. Whether or not you choose Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or fucking Sprite, or fucking, you know, Monster, it doesn't matter what you're choosing, right? It doesn't matter what you choose to drink. If at the end of the day you're still choosing BlackRock, right, or Vanguard, or State Street, one of the three, right? It's usually one of the three, but you'll see more as we go through how your illusion of choice, because you're probably sitting there like, this fucking retard, that's a Sprite. Yeah, it's a Sprite. Brought to you by Coca-Cola Company. Okay? This is a Fanta, right? Anybody who knows Fanta knows that Fanta was specifically designed to sell Coca-Cola products to Nazis in Germany during World War II. In fact, this flavor right here, the pineapple, now it's ironic. I love it because pineapple eats you as you eat it, but also they make you pay. They make you pay for the Nazi drink. You'd think that they'd be like, you know, this one's free. Everybody can get a Fanta for fucking free because, you know, this is what we were playing the Nazis with in order to get fucking money out of there. But then you think about, well, were we really getting money out of there? No, we weren't. The companies were. You know, Coca-Cola Company was, because, you know, when their machines and factories get destroyed out there in Germany, they get the money from the American government because, our government destroyed the factories. Now that makes you wonder how much about that is really like aware and privy on a larger scale, right? So you have a war going on. The American government is fighting in another country. You take your company and you put it into that country and you build a factory, you put some slaves in that factory, and then you're making money out of that country, right? On both sides of the war, right? So you got a factory in Germany, you got a factory in America. They're running the way they're supposed to be running for each country. Now, when an American soldier sees that slave ran factory in Germany, right, with the Coca-Cola logo on there, pushing out Fantas, and they blow it up because they're like, fuck this shit. Guess what happens to that fucking Coca-Cola company? They go up to the government and they're like, Mr. Government, you guys blew up one of our factories running slave labor out there in Germany during that war. So can we get a check for that? And they're going to be like, not for that fucking much, a little bit less, but yeah, sure. You know what I mean? But that's what fucking happened. And here's why that happened. The craziest part about why the fuck that happened was because we needed those companies again after the war. After World War II was over, we were in the Cold War. Now the Russians are looking at us fucking weird. All right, now they've got the Russians looking at us, so we need these companies, guys. We need them to continue to push this poison on you, so that way we can have money to justify sending these same companies over to these other countries to do even worse shit. And then when they get blown up for doing horrible shit, we can give them a fucking sorry check instead of to the fucking black community of, like slave ancestor, like any of the fucking people that actually fucking struggle like today or anything like that, or like forgiving student loans or anything like that, or like, I don't know, like maybe like when you do a pay raise every year, like here's the fucked up part. You guys get like 1%, right? It's 1.5%, no more than 1.8 every year in your raise bump, right? You get that nice little bump up, 1%. Yes. But you're also losing 2.5 to 3% in inflations at the same time. So you're not ever really getting money. You never really make more money. You'll never make more money. You'll always make less. And here's the fucked her up part, right? That wasn't fucked enough. The money that you already got, if you don't spend it, loses value. So your dollar today is only like 87 cents tomorrow. That's fucked. But business is good, Sure. Okay. Obviously, I'm on the rant mode today. It's I miss you guys. All right. I miss you guys. I miss talking to you guys. But at the same time, I've been worried. I've been fucking worried about you guys, man. It's just clustering, bolstering all up in there. But fuck it, right? Let them all off the hook with no trials, no accountability, and then immediately operation. That was always so interesting me to like. They're like, not only are we gonna let these guys off the hook for dealing on both sides of the war, like that's not enough. We also need to bring in the guys that we were fighting in that war, like the best and brightest, right? These are the guys that were coming up with all of the best fucking ideas for these dickwads, right? We're gonna bring those guys over here. We're gonna make them work for us first, right? We're gonna make sure we scrub them up and get them all nice and clean and ready for integration, and then we're gonna give them the best jobs in the private sector for defense contracts and whatnot. Let them go to Raytheon, let them go to Lockheed Martin and fucking Northrop Grumman and fucking Ball Aerospace and Skunk Works and whatnot. I mean, let them do that shit, and then let them also take those. let's also take the fucking biggest and brightest mind out of fucking Germany, the guy who was taking slaves and making them fucking build rocket ships. Let's take that guy. Let's take that guy and make him in charge of our space program. And then let's also make that guy come up with the ideas for how it is that we like train our own scientists to conduct themselves, and how our hierarchy works and everything. Because that shit was working. Like Nazis, no man, Nazis were bad, but the structure that Nazis had came in really quick, didn't it? It flooded in real fucking quick. We went from them Nazis are evil fucking bastards, burn everything down, the Nazi plague, blah, 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 to, let's bring them over and integrate their structure, their power structure and whatnot. And, let's I noticed that y'all took concentration camps from us. You might want to come over. Maybe we could brainstorm. Let's do a thought pool. Obviously nobody realized that we were obviously doing that first. Maybe we were the one giving you guys the idea, because we kind of sent you the money in order to get it jump started. But I don't know. I just think it's interesting. Like the Nazis couldn't have gotten to where they were unless these companies were sending them the money and the resources to get to where they were. So I mean, I honestly don't think I have to say anymore after that shit, but like, for some reason we do, right? That's a big weirdo thing, right? That's a flag for me. Like, okay, I can say this because it's 100% factually correct. Anybody can look this up and learn that this is true, right? Over 165 different American corporations had put money and finances and resources into making sure that the Nazi regime existed. And you have to remember that the Nazi regime existed before Hitler. I'm not saying anything except for the fact that that's just what the fuck the fact is. Hitler didn't make Nazism, right? Nazism made Hitler. Just putting that out there. Everybody likes to forget that part, but they recruited him into the party. Okay. Just putting that out there. Not saying what he did was great, because he was a fucking dick. But, name one fucking cracked out motherfucker who isn't a bit of an asshole. A bit of an eccentric fucking speed demon. I don't know, probably because he was doing a lot of speed. But then again, we can't confirm nor deny that. So it's just conjecture until proven otherwise. Although I can probably do a Google search right now and confirm that. Did Hitler do drugs? Adolf Hitler was a documented user of multiple drugs throughout his time as Nazi leader, with dependency escalating significantly during World War II. Methamphetamine, Pervitin. That's a very interesting name. But yeah, methamphetamine, used for energy, especially before speeches. Ecodal, a potent opioid similar to heroin or oxycodone, prescribed for pain and euphoria, which Hitler received in increasingly high doses after a 1944 assassination attempt. Cocaine. Yeah, you already know coke's going to be up in the system, man. I mean, think about it. I mean, that shit runs literally like the entire planet, and yet everybody seems to be so fucking confused on where the fuck it's coming from. Or who produces it or who perpetuates it or anything like that, I'm not saying I know. I'm just saying that Sherlock Holmes was a really fucking good book. And if you never had an opportunity to learn about deduction, I'm not saying that it's always accurate. I'm just saying that sometimes it is elementary, dear Watson. Elementary. Which brings us to tonight. All right. because we already know that the structure didn't die with fascism. It was imported. It was normalized. It became the template for modern American operations. And we're going to show you that and exactly what that consolidation looks like right now in real time. All right. And we're going to start off with, trying to understand the system and the perception and power. But more importantly, we're going to ask the terrorism question: how definitions control reality. Okay. Now, before we dive into this, I gotta say that some groundwork needs to be laid out a little bit about how I think about these things, because we talk about terrorism a lot, like all the time, right? And we talk about terrorists like there's some clear definition, but there really isn't, right? Like you can point at something and say that's terrorism and there's no room for interpretation, right? But here's the thing: there's no such thing as a real definition of terrorism that actually works. Okay? Not really, because terrorism is perception. They are the same thing. You're a terrorist to me because of how I perceive what you're doing to me. Not because you're an actual fucking terrorist, right? You don't have a fucking name tag that says, "Hello, my name is Terry the terrorist." No, you don't. I don't think anybody has ever woken up one morning and been like, "I identify as a terrorist." There, I said it. I'm a terrorist, guys. No, they don't. No, 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 no. And there's no registration. There's no there. I've never seen a form where it says black, white, Hispanic, terrorist. So it's not a race. So it's not it's not an ethnicity. You know what I mean? So what is terrorism? It's a perception. Remember that terrorism is perception. Okay. All right. In fact, it because I had to keep inventing new categories for it, like that should be another reason why you should have to like be like, oh, this is starting to make sense. Okay, there's domestic terrorism, there's narco terrorism, there's just regular terrorism. You know what I mean? Like they had to invent those because they realized that the original definition was too narrow, too close-minded. It couldn't capture everything that they needed to capture. So they keep expanding on it. And here's what I'm saying: all humans are terrorists at one point or another. I'm pretty sure my dog is a fucking terrorist, okay? I'm a terrorist to my fucking dog, okay? We terrorize each other all the fucking time. That's kind of what we do. Like when he jumps on my fucking bed and he's like pissing everywhere and he's like barking and rambunctious, or he bolts out that fucking door and he's driving me to my absolute fucking brink, he's terrorizing me. No, he's not. He's being a fucking dog, right? Okay, he's being a fucking dog. But these are terroristic antics, okay? And when I'm sitting there yelling at him, I'm like, "You dog, stop doing that. You boof, he suffers from acute boofism." And I'm just upset at him, freaking yelling at him in tongues. And he don't understand nothing. He's looking at me like, "What the fuck? This nigger's terrorizing me, right? He's fucking me. He's making me feel terrible." And what are we gonna fucking do about it, right? But it's irrelevant, right? It's irrelevant. Okay, we're humans. 90% of our fucking job is terrorizing people. Shit, 90% of their job is terrorizing us. Okay, like that's kind of that's why we kill people and do terrible things to people, right? Because fear is what we don't understand. So like I'm terrified of what I don't understand, and because I don't understand it, it becomes a terrorist to me because I'm afraid of it and I'm afraid of what it can do to me. That's a terrorist, right? No. So when I'm talking about institutional systems and power structures, I'm not talking about terrorism in the traditional sense. I'm talking about systems of control and fear that operate through normalized mechanisms. And that's important to understand because it changes how you interpret what I'm about to talk about. Okay. And that's Coke versus Pepsi. All right. We talked about that. I don't have a Pepsi because apparently I only choose fucking Coke products, whether it's a Sprite, a Coke, or a fucking Fanta. I choose Coke products. Okay, I choose them. Okay, because I don't really have a fucking choice. So like, what the fuck's the point? But I knew that, so I kind of gave up on trying to choose because it drives me fucking insane. All right, but let me start here. I want you to think about Coke and Pepsi, right? You walk into a store, you see two choices, they taste different, the marketing is different, they have two different teams, different executives, different histories. You feel like you're choosing. You feel like there's competition. You feel like you have control on whether or not Coke is going to win this epic fucking battle of fucking flavor or if it'll be Pepsi once and for all every single time. And that's the game. That's the whole game. It's to make you feel special. Feel, feel special. Okay. And then you learn that both are owned by the same people: BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Okay. The same three institutional investors that own controlling stakes in both companies. They own the choice itself. They own the real choice. Any real choice is with them up there at the fucking top. Everybody else gets what's known as illusion of choice. You think you chose something because you feel like you did. Good for you. Good for you and your feelings. You know, like that's what they're selling you. Okay? Just remember that. That's what they're selling you, okay? That's the system, okay? And that's what we're trying to talk about tonight. I'm going to try my best. All right. It's not going to be a good. All right. It's going to be my best, but I never said that my best was going to be good. Okay? So, that's another thing. See? See, I'm trying to help you. So, when somebody says, so next time someone says, "I'll do my best." No, I didn't say do your best. I said do it good. Okay? That means sometimes you have to do better than what your best is, okay? Because that's the psyop. I'll do my best. So you think the best fucking product is going to be coming to you. No, their best product is going to be coming to you. And sometimes you need something better than somebody's best. You need something good, okay? Because sometimes somebody's best is fucking shit. And, that's just how it is. But, like, I'm just trying to help you understand how that's how my brain breaks down words because I'm thinking about every individual definition, right? But if we were to apply that information to information and institutional power, you've got the official narrative coming through like Erica Kirk and Turning Point USA, and then you've got the skeptical narrative coming through Candace Owens asking questions, right? Two different voices, two different audiences, both serving the same machine. The machine doesn't care which one you listen to, okay? As long as you listen to one of them, as long as you think that you're choosing, as long as you don't see the architecture underneath the platform compromise, okay? There's a problem with that, right? The platform compromise. But here's something I want you to address because it's been gnawing at me, right? Everybody talks about how like Joe Rogan is compromised because he's on Spotify and maybe he is, but like here's the thing. Everybody's on fucking Spotify. Does that mean that all my music is compromised? Does that mean that like my woke motherfuckers are compromised? Like, what about the shit? Like, what about the guests that are coming on to talk to Joe Rogan on Spotify? Are they compromised? Like, no. Like, you just have to understand where the fuck the money is going, type shit. You know what I mean? Like everybody's on Spotify, but like how the fuck am I supposed to get on YouTube and talk to other people on YouTube about it being compromised without that same fucking question being slapped back onto me? Because I know I'm not compromised, but I also know that I'm using a compromised platform, right? Which means one of two things is happening. Either I'm not getting the fucking audience reach or stage I need in order to talk about the things I need to talk about, or like all of this is fucking bullshit. Like, maybe the whole thing is designed so that no matter what platform you choose, you're still inside the system. You're still serving the machine, even when you think you're fighting it. That's the real trap. So, like, if anybody ever watched The Matrix and remember the second movie in the second movie when he's in the room with the guy in the chair and there's all the screens everywhere and the guy is talking and like Neo looks just as fucking confused as everybody else in the audience is. What the guy in the chair was talking about is this right here. The illusion of choice, right? When he made the Matrix, he had a problem. People chose shit, and there was this problem that there was people that didn't want to live in the Matrix, right? So what did he do? He created another Matrix and then named that one the real world. The blue pill and the red pill thus are born, right? You have the real world and then you have the Matrix world. And then, even if you go into the real world, you're still in the fucking Matrix. Or if you go into the Matrix, it's all part of the program. And that was like the trick that he played on people so that way they wouldn't fucking break the system again, right? I think. I don't fucking know. I could be totally fucking wrong on that scene too, because honestly, it was a goddamn brain scratcher. I really don't know. But I gotta open these blinds a little bit. It's starting to get a little dimmer in here. Sun's going down. Sun's getting real low, buddy. Sun's getting real low. But yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah, that's the trap. That's the trap. And that's the trap that fucking fucks with my head at night because how do you expose a system when the only tools available to expose it are part of the system itself? That's a real fucking contradiction. And I don't have the fucking answer to that. I really don't. So I don't know. I'm like I'm hoping most people, if somebody out there says, "Oh, well, that's fucking easy," fuck you, okay? Like, all right, well, explain it to me, mister, because I'm an idiot, okay? But what I do know is this: understanding how the machine works is the first step, okay? And even if you can't escape it, even if every platform is compromised, understanding the mechanism is still valuable is kind of important, right? Because when you can at least see it operating and you warn other people about it, maybe that will matter. You know what I mean? Like, because at least you can see it and you can make that informed decision. Because remember, that's what this is about. Being able to make that informed decision, right? And you can't make that if everybody's fucking playing with you. You can't make that if everybody's fucking pulling off these goddamn ops. He said, she said that they said that there's a source that confirms that maybe that this might be legit on a deep fake AI source. Like, I can't keep up with this shit, man. When can we go back to Larry Oldstein said that this was going to be happening on this day? And then we look at Larry Oldstein, it's just like, well, yeah, that's what I said. You know what I mean? Like, I miss old news when it was just like the fucking legit, honest fucking news, and people are talking about what the fuck is really going on instead of all this fake bullshit all the damn time where I have to do this shit in order to fucking decode what the fuck to have for breakfast 8 months ago. Like, cause it's kind of weighing on me now, and I'm not sure if I should be getting these eggs or these eggs, and I still haven't come to a decision because there's all these other things that I have to consider before I even come to the decision of should I have even walked out the fucking door in the first place? Do I even own the door that I walked out of? What the fuck am I even walking out of? I get lost. I get lost, like in translation. I don't fucking know what's going on, but. Yeah. So let's just move on because like I said before, I tried warning you guys, and I even had to take time off because this stuff's big. This stuff's big, guys. It's very fucking big. And you want to know how it's fucking big? You know it's fucking big because ain't nobody give a shit about it. That takes a lot of fucking money. It takes a lot of fucking money to get people not to give a shit about something that could potentially fucking kill them. Right? That takes a lot of fucking money to get you not to give a shit about that. You know, I'm just saying. Like maybe like I don't know, like $24 trillion type of money. But I don't know anybody that has that kind of money. Not personally. I know a couple people that have, you know, access to those types of assets, but they're good. Those guys are good. Those are good guys. Guys, relax. Relax. We're going to fast forward, okay? Because I've been stuck in the past for a long time. We're gonna fast forward 80 years from 1913, all right? Jump forward. The players have changed. The methods have changed. Definitely, they've changed since then. But the pattern, is identical, ladies and gentlemen. A small cluster of financial entities controlling massive stakes across entire industries, operating with minimal oversight and shaping policy from behind the scenes. Today, these entities are called asset managers. And the three biggest are BlackRock, Vanguard, and State Street. Okay? We already know this stuff. Why? So you're probably asking me, if we already know all this stuff, why do you keep talking about it? Because believe it or not, there's somebody out there who doesn't and who's legitimately confused about this shit or interested in this shit or at least wanting to know more about it. And that person, me to you directly, my bad for the energy shift. You have to understand that I am broken. I am very much broken in a lot of different ways from a lot of different things, going through this complication known as life, right? And I call it a complication not because it's not in a negative way, but because it's extremely complex. Experiencing this thing that we experience, this plane of existence, is very, very profound and surreal in and of itself, for starters. But more so than that, obviously something very, 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 very important is going on here, that not a lot of people are understanding on what's going on, and I'm one of them. Okay, I can raise my hand and admit that I'm one of them. That I'm not sure on what the fuck is going on, but I do know that something is going on. It's whatever it is. It's not good. Okay, it's not good. And the reason why I don't know what the fuck is going on is because, like everybody else, all I can do is take the information as it's presented and then fucking run it through patterns. Find the patterns. Find what the fuck's going on with this shit. And maybe who knows? I might be, I'm not far from the strings. I just can't afford cork boards. Give it some time. Let me get some cork boards, okay? Like I'll figure it out. I'll figure out who, what, when, where, why, how. Well, we have how. We see how it's happening. That's the fucked up part. So we see how it's happening. We see when it's happening. We see what's happening. So that's who. And we also see where it's happening. We see where it's happening, what's happening, when it's happening, and how it's happening. But those two fucking important ones that we don't have are who and why. So we need to know who and why. We're learning who is. We're learning who they is, who them motherfuckers are. They're not they anymore. They is scary. Them motherfuckers are nothing, right? Them motherfuckers is easy, right? So it's not they, it's them. And it's I think it's funny because never mind. I'm not gonna say nothing. And I'm not gonna say anything because there if you're brainwashed and you don't know that you're fucking brainwashed, I can't sit here and hold you at fault. You know what I mean? That's not your fault for not knowing any better. It's not. But that's also not an excuse or a reason for you to be taken advantage of because you don't know any better. So allow me to extend that courtesy of not taking advantage of you and letting you know that it's not your fault. You didn't know any better, right? If you punish a child for not knowing any better, then they'll never know because they'll never try to know better. They'll be too fucking afraid because every time they make a mistake, they got beat, right? So apply that for because remember that, we're all just a bunch of fucking giant fucking children bumbling around here. And anybody trying to tell me that we're a bunch of fucking kids trying to play adult is bullshitting. Okay. I see it all over the fucking place. I see more adults going to fucking Disney movies and fucking kid shows and fucking getting excited about cartoons and shit. Shit, man. I'm pretty sure I have a fucking Legend of Zelda fucking hat sitting right there in my grown ass man's fucking room. Okay, but it's not your fault that you enjoy this shit. It's designed for you. That's what we're trying to show you, the pattern and how the fuck you get played with from literally every fucking aspect and avenue of your life. You got you don't have a choice. There's no point in your life where they're like, hey, by the way, you've just been born. All right. And you are now at a point in your life where you can now comprehend all the things that I'm saying to you. And it's now time for you to make a choice. You can either live under the illusion or, see what the outside of the cave looks like. You know what I mean? That point doesn't come because literally from before you're even out of the womb, you're under the influence of everything around you. You learn in the womb, you learn outside the womb. Actually, the first 5 years of your life are the most important years of your life because it's when your brain is still molding. You know what I mean? The most key port, you live most of your life before you hit 20. You know what I mean? That's why when you're a kid, it feels like you're a kid forever. Those years feel like forever. And once they're gone, they're fucking gone. And then once you're an adult, it feels like it snaps by. That's not by fucking coinkydink. That's by design. That's called think about it. Think about it, man. I don't know. I mean, I also wonder about time dilation, but then I also have an issue with time dilation. So my thoughts about time are already fucking fucked up on top of whatever the fuck time really is supposed to be, anyways, because I have a warped perception of time, so I don't really. I just realized I've been rambling for 58 minutes. You know what I mean? It's just and I'm only into the second section of this fucking time. I've only gotten 2 notes. That's because I think that I've got all the time in the world, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's no such thing as time. Maybe time is just an illusion. I mean, it is a construct. I mean, if there wasn't measurement trackers, if I didn't have any way to measure time, would I know what time it was? No, I just know that, the sun's less bright than it was a couple of minutes ago. I wouldn't put a number to it. What's up with all these numbers? I don't know. Language maybe, but I don't know nothing. Them motherfuckers. That's right. I see. I'm very, very hyped. I'm very, very hyped up right now. When I say hype, I don't know if it has a different meaning anymore. But when I mean hype, I mean there's a lot of energy running through my brain because it's just how it is, and I'm trying to slow it down, and it doesn't seem to really be working that well. But I only took one hit, so maybe I just need some more of my salad. Who knows? But I just want you to listen to these numbers real quick, okay? And I want you to listen to these numbers real quick because they should scare the shit out of you. They should scare the shit out of you. But before I give you these numbers, I need to turn on a light. So hold on. Or don't hold on. Fucking leave. I don't care. Do what you want. That's the best part about being an American is like that First Amendment gives you a lot more fucking freedom than you think it does. You know what I mean? There's a lot that comes with freedom of religion, freedom of press, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Oh, fuck. I'll let you know right now. I am expressing extreme fucking pain and discomfort, but we're fucking charging. We're charging anyways. All right. Excuse me. I've been fucking sipping on this Nazi water. All right. I'm gonna turn the AC on. Okay. What's up? You gotta go outside? What, you wanna go outside? You gotta pee? Anki's gotta pee. All right. Look at like he's gotta pee. All right. This is what he tells me when he needs to pee. He gets up in my face and he lets me know. He's gotta go. He's like, Dad, it's time. Okay, come on, down boy. All right, let's go outside. All right, I will be right back. All right, I'm going to be back in like literally 45 seconds. He needs to take a piss. Nature calls, okay? So, how about you enjoy some in-flight freestyle piss? Shout out to Epic the Dom. I listen to your fucking beats for fucking ever, and they're fucking dope. I don't want you to fucking sue me or anything, but I'm using it for fucking waiting music. All right. I don't like money, so don't take money. Where's your leash at? All right, we have returned once again. Shout out to Epic the Dawn for providing that nice, chill, relaxing beat while I took my dog out to piss. And we are back. with the numbers, okay? And they aren't 469, okay? All right. And grandma was not playing the numbers. All right. Definitely not playing the fucking numbers. Yo, check it out. All right. BlackRock manages $14.4 trillion in assets. We're talking $14 trillion with the T. We're talking 14 trillion Trumps right here. It's freaking huge. All right. That's not the GDP of one country. That's the GDP of multiple countries combined. Okay. Which countries? Not ours, obviously. We're freaking rich. But Vanguard manages $10.11 trillion in assets. What the fuck? Okay, this is a lot. This is a lot, you know. Cool, right? And then State Street down there with their 4.72 trillion in assets. That's wonderful for you guys. Combined, that's a total of 28.87 trillion fucking dollars, okay? That's 28.87 Trumpers right there, smack dab on your fucking plate, and it's freaking huge. It's wonderful, all right? It's just fucking money. It's just fucking assets. And you know, assets is a lot of things, right? It's not just money. Assets is a lot of things. It's just 24 or excuse me, 28 trillion fucking dollars worth of it. And really at 28.87 trillion dollars, you got to round it up to the good old 29. So it's really like 29 trillion fucking dollars damn near, you know, plus tax, you know, do not pass go, do not collect $200. Like that's ridiculous. Okay. And it's only ridiculous because the entire US GDP is approximately $27 trillion. So these three companies combined manage more money than the United States does. They've got more money than we do. And they own everything that we buy. So they just own a little bit more of it every year. Okay. Just saying. Just saying. So I don't feel like I need to, but I am just going to repeat that for anybody who didn't understand what just was said. Okay, and that's three companies, not governments, companies, 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 three companies, not governments, three private asset managers. They control as much capital as all of the goods and services provided by 330 million fucking Americans in an entire year. So you plus your neighbor and their neighbor and everybody else on your block and everybody else on every like you look at somebody. Yeah, that guy too. Yeah, all your fucking money is still less than fucking these three companies combined, okay? And they're getting more of your money every year, okay? If you don't believe me, you're more than welcome to go to the sec.gov webpage right the fuck now, please, because maybe I'm retarded. And that's why I say that. Go onto that website yourself, okay? Go onto the website yourself, okay? And I'm not asking you to take my word. I'm asking you to search up BlackRock Institutional Investor, and I want you to look at the SEC filings showing their their ownership in nearly every public company, because it's not a fucking secret, okay? I literally want you to go do that. I would love for you that, like, if you do anything, because you're a free fucking person. You're free if you're in America. You're supposed to be, I think. Unless you're like born in another country or like look different or like poor or addicted to drugs or fat or sick or poor or know what groceries are. Yeah. If any of those hit you, then except for those guys. But everybody else, yeah. Oh yeah. Super, super, super. Okay. Okay. All right. So that way we're tracking this, okay? But yes, please go fucking verify this for yourself. Please. Do not ever take my word for it. I will always tell you not to take my word for it. I will also always tell you don't give me anything in fucking return except for, like a like, comment, and subscribe so more people can see this and be like, holy fucking shit. Don't give that guy any money. Like, give that guy more people to fucking let know about this bullshit. Or honestly, you don't really even have to do that. Like, really, you really, really don't have to do that because I'll keep it a buck with you. I don't even do that. I don't even like, comment, and subscribe. So I'm not going to tell you to do some shit that I don't even do. So you could honestly, it would be really great if you could just go onto the SEC filing right there onto the .gov website, do the research, and then just tell somebody you really give a shit about and who gives a shit about you enough to actually value what you're telling them, right? You find one person who you can have that exchange with, fuck everybody else. And just bring in those people. And I'm telling you, it'd be wonderful. It'd be great. It's gonna be huge. Okay. But yeah, please look it up yourself, okay? Ownership across competitive industries, okay? And here's where it gets fucked up. These three firms own the same piece of every major company simultaneously, okay? Coca-Cola Vanguard owns 8.37%. BlackRock owns 7.36%. And then State Street owns 3.83%. And that's a combined of 19.56%, right? So you take that 19.56%. Keep that in mind. Coca-Cola. So when I say the big three, I'm talking about these three, you know what I mean? Or if we I don't know. That's when I talk about them motherfuckers, okay? I don't know why I keep doing that. Them motherfuckers. We're not making these bitches scary anymore. It's them motherfuckers. And them motherfuckers own 19.56% of Coca-Cola Company. Them motherfuckers also run 16% of PepsiCo. All right. If you want the breakdown on that, it is 8.44 to Vanguard, 4.73% to BlackRock, and 3.4% to State Street. And combined, it's approximately 16%. I'm fucking rounding. Fuck you. All right. Do the math. All right. Those are supposed to be competitors. Okay. All right. This isn't a legal question. Not even particularly controversially legally. All right. This is just how it works. Okay? It's just how it works. It's just how the system runs, man. We don't fight it, brother. We just go with the flow. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Okay? We're not trying to fight nothing or anything here. We're just saying that this is how the fuck it works. Okay? So yeah. But I do want you to think about what's actually happening, okay? And that's the three largest shareholders in Coca-Cola are the same three largest shareholders in PepsiCo. So if you remember earlier when I said your options are zero because it's either BlackRock or BlackRock, that's what I mean. It's BlackRock or BlackRock, okay? So if you don't believe me, that's fine. I'm used to it. Okay. If you don't believe me, that's fine. You can check any major company on the sec.gov. Okay. Search institutional ownership and you'll see them motherfuckers listed as the top shareholders repeatedly over and over and over again. This pattern repeats itself in 88% of S&P 500 companies. 88%. That's not a coincidence. That's a structure. So, you're probably asking yourself, how does this mechanism work? Right? That's the beautiful thing about it, man. No coordination necessary. You're the CEO of Coca-Cola, okay? This is you right here. You're at the top of Coca-Cola. Congratulations, okay? You're the CEO of Coca-Cola, and your largest shareholders, your top 3 largest shareholders, who together own 20% of your company, they also own massive stakes in your biggest fucking competitor, Pepsi Company, okay? So your biggest enemy, Pepsi, also is owned a large share of their company by the same 3 guys that own a very large chunk of your company. All right. Okay. What incentive do you have to undercut Pepsi on price? If you think through the math with me here, all right, I just want you to help me out here. If you cut Pepsi's price by 50%, your margins compress. Your profit per unit drops. Maybe you gain some market share, but Pepsi's margins compress too. And Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street own both companies. Their portfolio return on Pepsi goes down, even though their portfolio return on Coke went up. So you have to think about it like this, right? Let's use these ones. This little pyramid is Pepsi. P for Pepsi. The red is for Coca-Cola. So the little Marlboro is for Coke. This is for Pepsi. Okay. So I own Pepsi. You own Coke. Let's trade. You own Coke. I own Pepsi. Okay. All right. We're competitors. I want more people to buy my pyramid than they buy your cigarettes. Okay. Right. Right. Obviously. Okay. But we are both owned by Mr. Coyote. Mr. Coyote owns 25 cents on my company and 25 cents on your company. All right. And Mr. Coyote says that, he doesn't like when he loses money ever. So instead of your company cutting the prices on your product, so that way more people buy your product, because normally you'd think, well, that would be good because at least Mr. Coyote is getting some profits on these cigarettes. But Mr. Coyote doesn't like that because while, yeah, he's getting some money over here off the cigarettes, he's not really making any money off of this anymore, which means that this was a waste. So Mr. Coyote wants to make money off of this and this at the same time. So how does he do that? Instead of making them compete to lower their prices, they compete with higher prices. Every year they come out with a higher price. They go up little by little. And each year they take turn with which price is going to be higher than the other one. Some years Coke is cheaper, some years Pepsi is cheaper. But the whole point is to keep that rotation feeling as if like you're the reason why the price of the Coke and the Pepsi are alternating, because the real trick is not to get the Coke or the Pepsi, right? It's not to raise the profit on the Coke or the Pepsi. The real trick is to get you to give your coin as much as possible. Fuck these two things. These two things could literally be swapped out with anything. Give it drugs and sex. Give it politics and fucking entertainment. Do whatever the fuck you want with these things. These products that you put in there can be literally whatever you want. But at the end of the day, Mr. Coyote wants your money. Okay? So if you don't want to give your money to Mr. Coyote, fucking figure out how the fuck they're playing you. Okay? Like this is a read book. Okay? Don't go to my website. Do not read my book. Okay? Because I don't have either of those things. All right. I don't have a website. I don't have a book. I don't have any fucking merch. Okay. I don't got none of that shit. All right. Because I'm not trying to push nothing on you except for information. Because I believe that information is the most This is the most valuable fucking thing that I can ever give you. Because once you get it, it's there forever unless you forget. And usually you don't forget things that are fucking trying to kill you, okay? And these guys are trying to fucking like Brutus us and then make us feel like it was our fault to begin with. You know what I mean? Now, I see other countries do it, but I'm telling you, if they ever bring legalized unaliving to the United States, you already know what that's for. It's because they'd rather you do that than actually do anything about it. But you know, it's just me. But you know, that's totally off from Coke and Pepsi. You know, like I said, I'll ramble a lot. My dog just freaked out. Hold on. Okay, okay. My lady has returned home. So that's oh shit, my bad. I'm over here yelling at you guys and it my bad. My bad. Like I said, I'm an idiot. I'm over here yelling at you guys. I have this microphone turned up to 11 and shit. That's my fault. I'm obviously new to microphones, so my bad. Um let's see here. What was I talking about? Where's my geek for at? I know they're bad. I know they're very, 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 very bad, but you know, fuck it. You know, I know I'm going eventually. It numbs a lot. I smoke for different reasons. Everybody smokes for different strokes for different folks. You know what I mean? For me, I smoke these to try to. I mean, it sucks, man. I'm gonna be honest. It fucking sucks. Sucks what's going on in the world. What can you do except for try to fucking? I don't know. Who knows what I'm doing here, man? Maybe I'm just freaking trying to figure out how to vent a lot of this fucking crazy shit going on and figure out what the. Honestly, I really want to know what's going on. I really miss knowing being in the know, you know, and I don't know anymore. I don't know anything that's going on anymore. Not like that, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I don't know. The math just doesn't work in their favor if you compete. Point of the story. Maybe I'm a little bit more. Honestly, I'm excited. My lady's home, so it probably calmed me down a little bit. I just got real fucking mellow. Super good mood. My lady's back. Very happy about that. But we know the math doesn't work in their favor if you compete. The math works better if you don't. Right? See, this is why I turned it up a little bit. I'm not sure how well you can hear me on here. But what was I saying? So what happens? Right? Both companies maintain high margins. Neither undercuts the other. Right? Prices stay high across the industry. Nobody has to coordinate. Nobody has to meet. Nobody has to communicate. The math just works this way automatically. That's the structural alignment without communication. It's better than a cartel because there's no smoke in the room. There's no recorded meetings. There's no conspiracy email chains. There's no evidence of coordination. The math just works that way. This is the genius of the system. It doesn't require active conspiracy, it requires only structure. The structure creates the outcome automatically. All right. There's a Harvard law professor named Einar Eluaj. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Einar, I botched it. I botched it like 7 times. I read it a billion times. I even listened to it be pronounced, and I'm still botching it. All right, I'll probably botch it until infinity. I'm sorry. My apologies, Einar. But I do have to thank you for your work because you put very good work out there and people need to know about Einar. Okay. He put out a peer reviewed research proving this mechanism. Okay. It's called How Horizontal Shareholding Harms Our Economy. And it's mathematical proofs. Okay. It's over 99% confidence in concentrated markets. This isn't an opinion. This isn't my inference. This is a published research by a Harvard law professor in peer reviewed journals. Okay. There are 24 plus peer reviewed studies confirming this effect in airlines, banking, pharmaceuticals, food. Okay. This pattern is consistent, and higher common ownership equals higher prices. All right. Azar, Schmalz, and what was Tiku analyzed 1,200 airline routes. Okay. Some funds are coming from Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street, right? Now, when I say some, I mean like some are coming from Vanguard, some are coming from BlackRock, and some are coming from State Street. But when I say, but when I say that they're the same, okay? Own stakes in competing airlines on same routes, okay? On those routes, ticket prices were measurably higher. On routes with lower common ownership concentration, prices were significantly cheaper. Billions of dollars annually in overcharges. That means you pay more for a plane ticket because of common ownership. That's not speculation. That's proven. Okay. Okay. Now let's make this concrete. We're going to talk about how this ownership structure creates harm in your actual life. Okay. This is not theoretical harm. This is actual harm. All right. And the first example we're going to talk about is insulin. All right. Insulin costs about $98 to $350 per vial in America, depending on the type. That comes out to roughly $300 to $600 a month for most diabetics In Canada, the exact same insulin cost about $35 per vial, which comes out to around $70 to $140 a month. The difference isn't production cost. Okay, guys? Insulin costs approximately $6 to manufacture. The difference is pure markup driven by the ownership structure. 3 companies make insulin, okay? 3. Novo Nordisk, Eli Lilly, Sanofi. Vanguard owns 7.2% of Novo Nordisk, 6.9% of Eli Lilly, and 6.8% of Sanofi. Okay? 6-7. All right? They own about 6-7. BlackRock owns similar percentages in all 3, and State Street owns similar percentages in all 3. And I believe my lady is looking for a smoked salad. Now imagine if you're the CEO of Novo Nordisk, right? 3 Yes. The weed? This bag of weed right here. See, I was waiting for you to get home so that way I can roll a blunt. So, I'm almost done ish. Not really. That'd be a while. Unless I decide to take a break. It's already been an hour and a half. I could take a break on this and pick it up, but that would be horrible and people will hate me. And by people, I mean me. But baby, I only hit that thing one time. That's what I'm trying to get at. So, like, I would love to hit it again. Maybe you want to, take a seat right there. Absolutely. Yes. I don't need it open anymore. And honestly, I was getting paranoid because it's getting dark. So, yeah, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Just like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you get a lady to join you for a smoked salad. Yeah, just like that. I still got it. Yeah, it's a little rough, baby. It's doobies. Yeah. Same thing happened to me on camera. It was great. Yeah, made the same face and everything. Oh yeah, and then I had to talk through it and everything. And I was freaking out. I was like having an anxiety attack. So I was like spazzing or something. I was talking. You know how I get when I talk about freaking Federal Reserve and corporation fucking corruptions and shit. Can't help it, man. It's just like you can't help but kind of go crazy when you think about like your entire ideology being built on like Nazi values and not being allowed to talk about it. I know, baby. I know it's yucky. It's a yucky ducky. You got that lighter? Thank you. That's right. Now imagine you're the CEO of Novo Nordisk, right? Your 3 largest shareholders are Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street, and they own massive stakes in your competitors, your direct competitors. And if you cut insulin prices by 50%, your margin compresses, right? Your profit margin compresses, but Vanguard owns your competitors too, which means if your profit margin drops 50%, Vanguard loses more from your price cut than it gains from your volume increase because it's competing with itself, right? So what happens? Nobody cuts the prices. The prices stay $300 to $600. People die rationing insulin. Your grandma chooses insulin between food, and she dies rationing a drug that costs $6 to make. It's fucking horrible. Oh yes, I'm also wearing your Snoopy socks. It went good with the Woody the Woodpecker, and it was the only ones that I can immediately see and put on my feet. Yeah, that's rough. But because the ownership structure makes $600 prices more profitable than $50 prices, that's not conspiracy. Okay, guys? That's math. All right? That's structure creating outcome. Food poisoning. You probably saw this a couple episodes ago when I was talking to you about how your food is poisoned. Now we're going to talk about why, okay? Coca-Cola, PepsiCo, Nestle, Kraft, Mondelez, all the companies putting ultra-processed poison in your body. Who owns all of them? Them motherfuckers. So them motherfuckers are supposed to compete on safety, right? That's the goal. Compete on safety. They're supposed to race towards healthier products. Instead, they have the same three shareholders. Now, you have to remember. Now, if you guys remember, in I think it was episode 1, maybe it was episode 2, maybe it was episode 3, maybe it was episode 3. I can't remember. Maybe it was episode 3 when I was talking about how these companies started. They started off as rationing companies and whatnot. It was in order to, it's not food. Okay. These food companies weren't originally food companies. They were ration companies. They were just scientists and shit trying to make shit that would last a long time. And then after they didn't need them for war anymore, they're like, fuck it, let's sell it to people. Okay. That's why a lot of this shit's very bad for you, because it's not designed to be good for you. It's just designed to last a long time. Remember that. It's not designed to be good for you. It's designed to last a long time and taste good to you. Not be good for you, taste good to you. I'm telling you, man. Crazy what a couple of word changes can do to a sentence or a statement or a phrase or an ideology or a country. But like I said, if Nestle stops using high fructose corn syrup and cuts margins, the Vanguard portfolio gets hurt because Pepsi and Coke are still using it to maintain higher profit margins. The math incentivizes poison. The ownership structure makes poisoning people more profitable than feeding them real food. Okay? That's why nothing ever changes. The structure creates the outcome. Home prices rose approximately 130% from 2012 to 2025. You cannot afford a house. Your friends can't afford a house. Your kids won't be able to afford a house. Why? The Fed kept interest rates artificially low from 2020 to 2022. Cheap money inflates asset prices. When assets inflate, only people with capital can compete. Okay? Institutions have capital. Wealthy people have capital. You saving a down payment on your salary does not compete. Institutions outbid you. They consolidate ownership. You get priced out. And you can't build wealth. You don't build wealth. They do. Okay? The Fed policy made housing unaffordable. Institutions benefited. And the people on the Fed board, many of them have connections or will work at the institutions that benefited from the policy they set. That's how it works. The structure creates the outcome. I already told you about how Azar, Schmalz, and TQ study 1,200 airline routes, right? On these routes, there were the same funds: BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street owned stakes in competing airlines. Prices were measurably higher, 3 to 11%. This is depending on the route and the level of common ownership. Okay? On routes with lower common ownership concentration, the prices were significantly cheaper. This is we talked about this, right? I don't know if you remember or not. I think that's probably why I'm repeating it, because I probably just remembered. But billions of dollars annually in overcharges. You pay $600 for a plane ticket that should cost $300. Why? Because the ownership structure makes high prices more profitable than competition. This is the mechanism. This is how you get fucked without anybody breaking any laws. Okay? How is that? Good so far? If you have anything to say, please go ahead and please. You got anything to say? No, I think he thinks I got it all. Let me see here. Okay. I just had to look at something. Okay. Yeah, we'll talk for a little bit more. There's a little bit longer than normal. This is the longest one I've done so far, I think. Um yeah, we'll talk about this for a little bit more. We'll cover another section or two, and then I'm gonna put a pause on this because my lady did come home. I actually was supposed to start this podcast way earlier, but it just took me longer to get the script ready than expected because I got shit going on in my life, man. Like there's a very busy point in my life right now. Very, very freaking busy. And I'm not normally doing this much. It's only three things, but it's just like three things is a lot for me. You know what I mean? It's just like, that's a lot of tasks to knock out. That's a lot of people to talk to in a 30-minute time span. You know what I mean? To go from talking to a liaison to talking to a maintenance person. Now I'm calling the landlady on the phone, and I'm like, okay, like, now I got to call somebody else and talk to them, and got to wait on the phone, and then I got to send an email. Like, oh my goodness, please, for the love of God, don't make me ever have to send an email, man. I sent it twice to like two different emails because I'm not sure which email I'm supposed to send it to, and then I called the phone number on the card to verify that they got the email, and it's just like, this number's not in use anymore. So I call the backup phone number on the card, and that one's not in use either. And I'm like, that was a lot of information I just gave you, like a lot of sensitive information I just gave you. I really hope I didn't just like sensitively fuck myself. You know what I mean? It's just like, that would suck. If like the information fucked me in some sort of way, especially with the life that I've had. No thanks. But right now, today, we're not going to worry about it anymore. Honestly, not really going to worry about it anymore. Okay. After World War II, the U.S. Let me just back up a little bit, give you a little bit of context here, because I'm just thinking about, like, the whole petrodollar, right? The petrodollar, and you know what that means for you, kind of thing. But it's just funny because I don't think that it's hard not to go back to 19 fucking 45. You know what I mean? It's hard not to go back to World War II when we talk about things going on today, which is very interesting to think about how many things that are taking place right now that are still very, very important and serious, or like, like worrisome, that were being picked up on or started off or kicked off or whatever way back during the Great Wars. One of those being that the US needed a mechanism to maintain global dominance. They needed military power, right? But the military power was just one piece. The deeper piece was economic power, the ability to enforce your will globally without firing a shot. And in 1971, President Nixon ended the gold standard. The dollar was no longer backed by gold. This immediately threatened dollar dominance globally. If the dollar isn't backed by anything, why would the world use dollars? So, Nixon and the Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger, made a deal with Saudi Arabia, very explicit terms. The United States would provide military protection for Saudi Arabia's oil fields. The states would be Saudi Arabia's military ally and defender. In exchange, Saudi Arabia would price all oil exclusively in US dollars. This was formalized in 1974 through 1975. All OPEC nations agreed to price oil exclusively in dollars and reinvest surplus petrodollars in US government debt. Okay? You're probably asking why the fuck does this may even matter? Like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Every nation needs oil. Every nation needs energy. If oil is priced in dollars, every nation needs dollars. That makes the US dollar essential. The US dollar became the de facto global reserve currency, and that gave America enormous geopolitical leverage. The US dollar is the petrodollar. Same thing, but same thing, right? But we already know that the US dollar is also the Federal Reserve note. You want to sanction a country? Cut them off from dollar transactions. There's a lot of shit going digital right now. But just saying, if you want to sanction a country, you cut them off from dollar transactions. Russia's economy gets crippled because they can't access dollars. Iran, same thing. This is how America enforces power without firing a shot. This is the actual foundation of American empire. Not military, not trade deals, the petrodollar system. That system is right now under threat. All right? China's going to like it. All right? What is that thing called? The renminbi. China's renminbi is at 5% of the global reserves. And I'm probably saying that word wrong. At least you know I'm real. That's up from basically zero in the 2010s. All right. China is settling 27% of its trade in RMB, up from 17% in 2022. They're moving fast. Brazil and Argentina announced bilateral RMB settlements in 2023. They're moving toward settling trade in yuan instead of dollars. Argentina in April of 2025 renewed a $5 billion currency swap line with China. That's Argentina's largest source of foreign reserves now, not the dollar, Chinese yuan. Russia and Iran have been de-dollarizing, moving to RMB and gold after US sanctions. Saudi Arabia is discussing pricing oil in RMB as China becomes its largest buyer. 2025 BRICS Summit. So, leaders officially endorsed using non-dollar currencies for trade. If the RMB replaces the dollar as the global reserve currency, the United States loses its ability to unilaterally sanction enemies. The entire empire collapses. Okay, not militarily, economically. All right, that's existential. That's what's at stake right now. So with uh so on January 6th, Trump announced that the United States was taking military control of Venezuelan oil for what their production, right? They're taking over the Venezuelan oil production. And right now, Venezuela has 20 to 30% of the world's oil reserves. It's the largest single reserve on Earth. Now, a lot of people have been asking why. Because in 2017, Venezuela announced it wanted to price oil in yuan instead of dollars, a direct challenge to the petrodollar system. Okay? Now, I don't know who the fuck Maduro is. Okay? But back in 2017, that's when this was going on. I said 2017, all right? Not 2026. Not 3 minutes ago, all right? A couple of years ago, back in 2017, before COVID. So if your attention span doesn't, stretch that far, that's probably why. It's COVID. All right. Pre-COVID shit. All right. It's a long time ago. Pre-COVID shit. All right. If oil could be traded in RMB instead of dollars, countries don't need dollars. The petrodollar system breaks down. American empire loses its enforcement mechanism. So by seizing Venezuelan oil production and maintaining dollar-only pricing, Trump ensures that oil trades in dollars. Everybody needs dollars to buy Venezuelan oil. That reinforces the petrodollar system and makes the dollar essential again. But, that's just me, that's just me. But, this is the brutal mechanism of currency dominance, okay? Venezuela has physical oil in the ground. It comes out, it needs to be refined, shipped, distributed to buyers. Buyers need dollars to purchase it because Trump declares only dollars are exempted. The US Navy is blockading Venezuelan ships to enforce this. If China wants Venezuelan oil, it has to get dollars. If Europe wants Venezuelan oil, it has to get dollars. So like China is trying to sell the world on RMB right now. China saying you don't need dollars, you can trade in RMB, but if the world's largest available oil source, Venezuela, is only available in dollars, then the world still needs dollars. You can settle trade in RMB, but you need dollars to buy energy. Energy is essential, so dollars becomes essential again, okay? That's the enforcement mechanism. Physical resource control. Control oil, control currency demand, maintain petrodollar system, maintain dollar dominance, maintain American empire. Okay? For a lot of people, that's a good thing. I don't know what it is for other people. I don't know. But that's just what the fuck it is. So there it is for that. Okay? Now there's a secondary benefit. Okay? China had invested $60 billion in Venezuelan oil development. Okay. So by seizing control, Trump eliminates that asset from China and reasserts American dominance in the Western Hemisphere. Okay. So the naval blockade is currently ongoing. U.S. ships are seizing Venezuelan oil tankers. Trump's declared Venezuela a narco terrorist state rather than a sovereign nation to justify military action. Okay. Trump stated this directly. We're going to be taking out a tremendous amount of wealth out of the ground. Okay? That money will be controlled by me as president. All right? He's not usually fucking very subtle about that shit. So thank God for fucking Trump for that. Thank God for fucking subtlety, right? Like, and his lack thereof. But, there it is. Hold on here. Why? Because, oh, what's the, oh. Okay. For anybody who's interested, Erica Kirk is putting the judge presiding over her late husband's murder trial on notice by invoking her right to a speedy trial as the representative of a victim of crime. Erica's demand comes 4 months after Charlie Kirk's assassination. That's the entire post. Okay. And the reason why I say it like that's the entire post is so that way you know that that's what the entire post is. Take that information how you will. I don't know how to take that information until I sit back and think about it. But after I think about it, there, I don't know what it is that they're trying to say, but like, if it has anything to do with somebody like, probably being involved or probably having foreknowledge or probably trying to cover up or anything like that, or anything like that. I mean, all right, it's like this. I could do a whole ass fucking episode on Erica Kirk and the weird shit about that lady. All right, and it's not because it's not even like it's just like when like when you see all this shit popping at you all the damn time, all these fucking people because this guy gets killed, and it's horrible that this guy gets killed in the way he gets killed and everything, and you see how like these people are acting and how their demeanor is and everything, and being very familiar with death and the grieving process and a lot of the different ways that people manifest that grief and whatnot, and seeing how individuals are conducting themselves. Now, it's very difficult to really capture a full fucking image in a video because those videos are designed to be capturing a specific image and angle that they want you to see, right? So you have to remember that somebody before that camera even starts rolling has already thought about what they want you to see, how long they want you to see it, when they want you to see a different angle. Like, you have to think about stuff like that. Like a movie director, they got stuff like that in real life. That's what they do. You know what I mean? There's very like how often do you ever see anything really live 4K or when it really happens, right? That was like a big deal type shit, even for among shootings and shit like that. Like even like that university shooting. I don't know. I could be wrong because I didn't do a lot of research on that yet. Because honestly, I've actually like made a vow to like slow down on researching people and like the horrible things that are happening to them because it will literally kill me if I continue to do it. But um, what I do notice in a lot of instances is that like nobody's usually ever recording before something happens. The recording usually always starts after the fact. Pop, pop, pop. What the fuck? Pull out my camera. What's going on? Right? It was, and now I understand that this is an event, right? This is an event where a bunch of people are sitting there and talking and everything like that. So that's a little different, right? But it is weird that that was his first time doing that event in that way that he was doing it, I guess. So I just, I don't, I just think it's kind of weird that it happened like that. That scared the living shit out of me. Yeah, I got that's PTSD fucking 101 for you right there. You hear the thing cracking. Is that mine? Is that mine? Oh, I mean, that smells amazing. So it's like this, okay? I was gonna keep going. I've already hit 2 hours. I'm at 2 hours and 2 minutes right now. So I'm gonna leave it right there. I'm gonna hop back on in the morning and pick this up because I do want to get into this next part, but right now this is where we're gonna set it at, and we're gonna rest it at here, and let you guys know that we will be back in the morning. Okay, probably after 9. I don't know, like when I wake up, but I'll definitely be back on to hop on. It's just that my lady's been here, and I want to go spend time with her. So take it easy.